mean, is it kind of scary releasing this out into the world and just being so vulnerable and having this side of yourself and this, you know, exposed?
Because there is no me, no self. Jim Carrey is gone, actually never existed, and I know that now. So I'm able to take gigantic chances with this thing that people know as Jim Carrey.
James Eugene Carrey was born in 1962 in Newmarket, Ontario, Canada, within the Greater Toronto Area, also referred to as the Golden Horseshoe. What a lot of people don't know about Jim is his humble beginnings, the struggle and pressure for fame, and the tumultuous relationship with his father. At one point, after his dad had lost his job as an accountant, his family of 7 lived out of a VW van. They eventually were able to find jobs at a warehouse where their employer allowed them to live out of the back room. But it took a toll on Jim and his family.
When I see your biography on TV and stuff, it was so, I mean, I was kidding about it before, but it does sound kind of sad. I mean, you grew up in a car.
I like that music. Keep it going.
Your dad, I was watching either some Jim Carrey biography or something, and it was like, your dad was, don't cry.
Yeah, the lip's already going, right?
Dad couldn't hold a job. You and your whole family lived in a car and had to, like, be janitors together.
Yeah, but you know what? Through that,
you became the man you are today.
Yeah, we had some tough times.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like every family,
But out of that,
those tough times when you reach down.
Yeah. No. You imagine, like, you going to school.
I don't know that he went to school. I think they just...
Imagine that I'm going to school, though.
So imagine you went to school, then afterwards, like, all the kids see you pile out of the car with your parents, and you're cleaning the school. That's gonna be bad.
Yeah, that's still washing my hands.
Yeah, it's hard to be.
I'm brushing my teeth as I walk up to the school.
How long did you live in a car for?
It was a lot less.
Jim Carrey in a Toyota Celica.
It was.
Yeah, what kind of car was it?
It was a good 6 months.
What was the car, anyway?
It was a Volkswagen camper.
So it was a camper. It wasn't like you didn't have room.
Well, yeah. Well,
I imagine.
The Volkswagen camper, they're quite plush.
Yeah, talk to the kids living in the regular Volkswagen.
Right.
The hammock that was strapped across the front seats was my place.
You really lived in a Volkswagen camper?
I really did, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it fun on any level?
I'm deep, man. I'm so deep.
You're dark.
No, I mean, was there any sort of like, hey, we're on an adventure kind of thing about it?
You know, honestly, at the beginning, well, you know, when my father lost his job, I was pissed. You know, it was like one of those things. My dad, how dare the universe?
Right, he's the smartest guy in the world. How could that happen?
Exactly. For all I know, he was, you know, just breaking pencils all day. Right. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm convinced my dad was the smartest guy in the world. Meanwhile, I realized he never made more than 25 G's a year. How smart could he have been?
Yeah, my dad made 20 grand
there you
a
go.
year at the top of his game.
But he was yelling at me that I was a bum.
Yeah.
I'm saying, what do you mean I'm a bum?
Well, the thing was, he wasn't happy. He would come home and just, you know, that damn guy, man, I tell you, one of these days I'm gonna, you know.
Right.
So I don't know what happened. You know, who knows? Maybe he was miserable there.
All you know is you ended up living in a car.
Exactly. Well, you know, I ended up, yeah, sure, and like trying to be the adult and trying to take care of everything.
In and around that time, Jim's father started pressuring him to attend local open mic nights to pursue a career in comedy as early as 14. He had chosen not to follow his own dreams and got himself a good, safe job. It's reported that Jim's very first time performing at the club Yuck Yucks, he completely bombed, but who wouldn't at their earliest stage performances, let alone being 14 years old with a crowd of adults. You all know the funny man, thriving on attention and laughs. So it's surprising now when he's openly speaking in a very somber, profound manner. A lot of people think he's gone a bit crazy due to the recent interviews, and looking back on his past behaviors and expletives that most people took as a joke.
Wait, tell me, is it true you're wandering the streets? You need a date to the party? What's up?
I'm gonna jump in and point out why this was a really stupid question to ask right off the bat. As some of you already know, his girlfriend, Katerina White, had just recently ended her own life.
No, I'm doing just fine. I just, you know, there's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
They're
I mean, you got to admit it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe
icons,
in
boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, you know, possibility that we could come up with. It's like icons. Do you believe in icons? I don't believe in personalities. I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
You don't believe certain icons have the power to make change, to think differently, to be bold, to inspire others? Artistry? You're one of them.
On the good foot. Ha! Yeah. You shut her down now. Yeah, no, I don't believe in icons. I don't believe in personalities. I believe that peace lies beyond personality, beyond invention and disguise, beyond the red S that you wear on your chest that makes bullets bounce off. I believe that it's deeper than that. I believe we're a field of energy dancing for itself. And I don't care.
But Jim, you got really dressed up for the occasion. You look good.
No, I didn't. Was
that an accident?
I didn't get dressed up.
Who did?
There is no me.
There's no you.
No.
We're not here. This is a dream?
There's just things happening. And there are clusters of tetrahedrons moving around together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's happening in our world right now? Because there is a lot of news that actually is relevant that's not that
Here's
uplifting.
the thing. It's not our world.
None
That's
of this is
key.
real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Oh, wow.
There's the good news.
Okay.
This wasn't the first time he had befuddled an interviewer at a big Hollywood event. It just got more attention.
How are you? This is
very good. I'm very good.
So,
how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
No, really, how are you?
Tired.
Ah, see?
Really?
I broke through that defense.
Tired, but very happy to be close to you, and congratulations on this great project. So, what this project, what this documentary means for your life and for your career?
It means we're all going nowhere. It's a big pageant of nothing rising out of nothing and happening for no one. And once you understand that, all the pressure's off, and you can just enjoy yourself.
And so I want to tell you something. Thank you for everything you do, to share with us, to your audience, the Eckhart Tolle message. I really appreciate it. This is very important for happiness, for our happiness. Thank you so much.
Yeah, he's a part of it for sure. He's a part of my journey, and there's been a lot of discovery. And you know, playing Andy Kaufman was an important part of it too, because I realized that, you know, Andy played characters, I played Andy, and neither of us exist. And we're energy. We're one giant field of energy dancing for itself.
Dancing?
That's exactly it. And we shouldn't take it so personally, you know, because it really is just a beautiful, beautiful relative manifestation, and it's here for us to enjoy.
Thank you for your energy.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, thank you again,
sir. All right, I appreciate it.
If you were going to go back to stand-up, and you said something about there's no Jim Carrey to sell anymore. Could you explain to me what you meant by that? I wrote it because it really stuck with me. It really resonated with me.
Well, I think that it resonates because it's the truth of everybody, you know? We spend our whole lives trying to invent ourselves and trying to figure out, you know, what this is, you know, and it's just a collection of abstract ideas, you know, from your ethnic background to your nationality to your, you know, whatever, all of that stuff, those are all ideas you've been given.
Exactly.
You know, and so when you end up at the end of it, you might be successful, but you're unhappy and you don't know why, because, oh, this thing didn't work. This is not a real thing. It's something I cobbled together. And well, then what is the real thing? And the real thing is everything.
He was slowly but surely raising the curtain to the real Hollywood, true spiritualism, and oneness. This can be quite a shock to many when you consider his film roles and early TV antics. But you have to think about how much pressure he had to succeed, and how desperate he was for approval and laughs.
It's a bit of pressure. I noticed that it changes you in little ways. Like, it's changed the way I laugh at parties.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to go, that's really funny. You know, now I go, oh! Oh, oh, beautiful! Have you guys heard this one?
I mean, look at most successful YouTubers. Many have chosen to degrade themselves in one form or another in hopes to maintain the constant approval of their viewers and fans. That doesn't mean that's who Jim Carrey was as a person, but he was typecasted as such. Many of his more serious films were left unabsorbed and underrated because of the audience he had gathered. Very few of them could appreciate or understand these films, while others passed it off because, how could Jim Carrey possibly be in a good serious movie? So he's been forever considered the goofball, giving us the shaming ball of ooze that was Dumb and Dumber 2. Don't get me wrong, I love Jim Carrey, but for trying to appease a newer, younger audience, the older audience was left feeling muddled and disappointed. If we can separate him for a moment from the obnoxious character he's played, listen to what he's saying. As someone who has brushed shoulders with the best and worst of the Hollywood elite, he came from nothing and then saw everything. He isn't crazy, he's just too woke for his own good.
Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
Well, you don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
Oh, I like it.
If you look at his history of drama and thriller-type movies, The Truman Show, Cable Guy, The Number 23, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, really great movies, by the way, paints a portrait of a much more complex, layered human being that you wouldn't expect of Ace Ventura or The Mask.
You're gonna have to do better than that, Steven!
Which brings us to his paintings. He's a very intriguing artist. There's actually a mini-doc about Jim Carrey called I Needed Color, where he discusses and shows some of his work. He's really just a highly intellectual guy trying to find himself and let go of the character we all knew him to be. He's more balanced and aligned with his own path of self-fulfillment than most of us could ever hope to be.
What you do in life chooses you. You can choose not to do it. You can choose to try to do something safer. Your vocation chooses you. When I really started painting a lot, I had become so obsessed that there was nowhere to move in my home. Paintings were everywhere. They were becoming a part of the furniture. I was eating on them. I found myself looking around at one point in a really bleak winter in New York, and it was just so depressing, and I think I needed color.
I think this is what we call a spiritual peak. He is one with all and all with one. Just because most people can't understand something doesn't make that person crazy. Jim is very consciously aware of everything he does and says at this point.
Come to me, jungle friends.
When Man in the Moon came out, there was all this talk about the process that you went through when you became Andy Kaufman, essentially. Did you ever have it in the back of your mind back then that you wanted to share that story in this way that you're getting to do now?
Yeah, and I thought I had become Andy Kaufman, but there was no me actually at the end of it all. I realized that there was, that this character was making choices to play a character, and so that's what kind of happened, and that's what Chris found in this interview and in this footage, that there was actually a existential, not a crisis, but a discovery going on,
There's been a lot of talk in the last few days, well, today recently, about
a lot of people making sound over here.
So much of that.
That's right.
People talking about an interview that you did at New York Fashion Week, and you talked about identity, and you all these ideas. Do you think that people kind of just don't understand it, or they haven't clued in to this whole thing you're talking about of people wearing masks?
I think that we're all, we're all trying to add things to ourselves so that we can finally define ourselves, and then everybody will get us and they'll go, okay, this is what you are. And then if you actually get there, you will find it so empty that you'll realize that's really not what it's about. It's about not only, you know, just going with the flow, but it's about not taking it personal. You know, it's like the difference between a house and my house is a world of difference, and it's the my that's the problem. You know, so you can do all this without the my involved. You know, you can do it in a way that it's not. Life isn't happening to you; it's happening for you know, for the good of everyone. It's just it's like it's a play. It's a giant, you know, field of consciousness dancing for itself, and you're here to make me happy, and you're to kind of, it's making itself happy. You know, it's like one soul. That's how I feel. I feel like, you know, people say, well, I have a soul. You don't have a soul. There's no you, but I feel like there is a soul, and it includes everything. Yeah. And when you wake up in the morning and you feel like I'm the universe, you don't have to reach for the stars. You know, you can just let life happen. Yeah. And walk through the doors. You know.
We'll have to wrap that. Sorry.
Thanks very much.
I'm sorry, you've run out of time.
How's it going? Good.
I just wanted to see what would happen if you stayed until they got tired. Usually people sit down during the biggest part of the applause.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So I thought I would see what that's like, that space. You know, out at the edge of the envelope with the blue devil. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, yeah. It is.
Lovely, though.
Yeah, but
so much.
but worth exploring.
Yeah,
well, have a seat here, Jim. How you doing?
I can see how people could think he's crazy, though that madness brings great wisdom. There's just one last video I want to share. It's from a commencement speech he gave a few years ago, and I've condensed it for you as best as I can. There's a lot of wisdom there. He actually makes more sense than most religions and their followers.
I'm here to plant a seed today, a seed that will inspire you to move forward in life with enthusiastic hearts and a clear sense of wholeness. The question is, will that seed have a chance to take root? Or will I be sued by Monsanto and forced to use their seed? I used to think Jim Carrey is all that I was. Just a flickering light, a dancing shadow, the great nothing masquerading as something you can name. Seeking shelter in caves and foxholes dug out hastily, an archer searching for his target in the mirror, wounded only by my own arrows, begging to be enslaved, pleading for my chains, blinded by longing and tripping over paradise. I used to believe that who I was ended at the edge of my skin, that I had been given this little vehicle called a body from which to experience creation. And though I couldn't have asked for a sportier model. It was, after all, a loaner and would have to be returned. Then I learned that everything outside the vehicle was part of me too. And now I drive a convertible. Now, fear is going to be a player in your life, But you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. Please. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job. And our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love. I am at the top of the mountain, and I was, and the only one I hadn't freed was myself. And that's when my search for identity deepened. I wondered who I'd be without my fame. Who would I be if I said things that people didn't want to hear? Or if I defied their expectations of me? What if I showed up to the party without my Mardi Gras mask and refused to flash my breasts for a handful of beads? I'll give you a moment to wipe that image out of your mind. But you guys are so ahead of the game. You already know who you are. And that peace that we're after lies somewhere beyond personality, beyond the perception of others, beyond invention and disguise, even beyond effort itself. You can join the game, fight the wars, play with form all you want, but to find real peace, you have to let the armor go. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory. Welcome to Burning Man. Some pretty crazy characters up there, but better up there than in here. You know, painting is one of the ways, thank you. Painting is one of the ways I free myself from concern, a way to stop the world through total mental, spiritual, and physical involvement. But even with that comes a feeling of divine dissatisfaction, because ultimately, we're not the avatars we create. We're not the pictures on the film stock. We are the light that shines through. All else is just smoke and mirrors, distracting, but not truly compelling. I've often said that I wished people could realize all their dreams and wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to find your sense of completion. Like many of you, I was concerned about going out into the world and doing something bigger than myself, until someone smarter than myself made me realize that there is nothing bigger than myself. My soul is not contained within the limits of my body. My body is contained within the limitlessness of my soul, one unified field. One unified field of nothing, dancing for no particular reason, except maybe to comfort and entertain itself. Now I'm always at the beginning. I have a reset button, and I ride that button constantly. Once that button is functioning in your life, there's no story that the mind could create that will be as compelling. The imagination is always manufacturing scenarios, both good and bad, and the ego tries to keep you trapped in the multiplex of the mind. Our eyes are not viewers, they're also projectors that are running a second story over the picture that we see in front of us all the time. Fear is writing that script, and the working title is, I'll Never Be Enough. This is the voice of the ego. And if you listen to it, there will always be someone who's doing better than you. No matter what you gain, ego will not let you rest. It will tell you that you cannot stop until you've left an indelible mark on the earth, until you've achieved immortality. How tricky is this ego that it would tempt us with the promise of something we already possess? I had a substitute teacher from Ireland in the 2nd grade that told my class during morning prayer that when she wants something, anything at all, she prays for it and promises something in return, and she always gets what she wants. Well, I'm sitting at the back of the classroom, you know, thinking, wow, my family can't afford a bike, you know. So I went home and I prayed for one. And I promised I would recite the rosary every night in exchange. Broke that promise. But 2 weeks later, I got home from school to find a brand new Mustang bike with a banana seat and Easy Rider handlebars. Yeah. From fool to cool. My family informed me that I had won the bike in a raffle that a friend of mine had entered my name in without my knowledge whatsoever. So that type of thing has been happening to me ever since. And as far as I can tell, it's just about letting the universe know what you want and working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass. Your job is not to figure out how it's going to happen for you, but to open the door in your head. And when the door opens in real life, just walk through it. And don't worry if you miss your cue, because there's always doors opening. They keep opening. And when I say life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, I really don't know if that's true. I'm just making a conscious choice to perceive challenges as something beneficial so that I can deal with them in the most productive way. You'll come up with your own style. That's part of the fun. Oh, and why not take a chance on faith as well? Not religion, but faith. Not hope, but faith. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire, and faith leaps over it. You are ready and able to do beautiful things in this world. And after you walk through those doors today, you will only ever have two choices: love or fear. Choose love, and don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gav. I'm so honored. Thank you.